Hello, and welcome to Forgotten Frights. I'm Josh, and I'm sitting here with Adam.
Hey, Josh.
Today on the podcast, we are watching the 1969 horror anthology Dr. Terror's House of Horrors, directed by Freddie Francis, written by Milton Subotsky, and starring Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, Max Adrian, and Ann Bell, and a whole lot more. Dr. Terror's House of Horrors tells the tale of one Dr. Shrek and 5 train passengers as he reveals their destinies. Here's the trailer.
Dr. Terror's House of Horrors. Horrors the screen has never before dared to depict. The terrifying horror of man killing vine with a human brain that creeps and kills. The terrifying horror of the dead, entombed for 200 years, that creeps its way back to terrorize the living. The terrifying horror of a dreaded man called Dr. Terror who, with his deck of mystic cards, could foretell destiny. Dr. Terror's House of Horrors.
Adam, that was the shocking trailer of Dr. Terror's House of Horrors. What did you think?
It was good. This is always an awkward part.
Is it because we don't watch the trailer?
Yeah, it's like I don't know what to say. All I can think about is everybody's got love.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I was thinking of was how truly shocked I was by the trailer.
see, you're making me look like a fool.
Did you know Shrek means terror in German?
No. But, I mean, that Shrek name gets thrown around quite a bit.
It does.
Yeah.
And it also means death or a plastic skeleton in a black robe. Whichever way you want to look at it.
That
so did I. Adam, how's it going? It is the beginning of October. We're in the second week of October. And, it's spooky month.
Yeah, and I'm excited. We've got a lot of our spooky skeletons and Halloween decorations up, and we're getting things ready for a little trunk or treat action.
Yep, we got. I got Bone Daddy sitting next to me. That's a skeleton I normally hang up, but he's got his arm around me, and it's a nice crisp autumn day, and I'm ready to talk about this terrifying film.
Bone Daddy looks like he might be from the Shrek lineage.
Why do you think I have him out?
Same smile.
That's right. I just got to put a robe on him, and he looks like Peter Cushing.
He's naked as hell.
That's why I call him Bone Daddy.
Oh my! There it is.
We talked about. I think Halloween maybe is both of our favorite holidays. I'm not our favorite holiday for the both of us.
That is true. And by Halloween, you mean August 1st to November 1st.
Absolutely. Actually, I held out until like August 20th, I think, this year. Last year, August 1st, my daughter was very much like, let's get out the Halloween decorations. And it was too early. I felt like it was by October, my daughter and I were like, we are so done looking at zombies and skeletons. So.
You have a pumpkin carved, a jack-o'-lantern carved outside in your front yard that looks like the last season of MASH, and it's Harry Morgan.
It is. We've got some that have already. We've been carving pumpkins now for so long that we have some that are like truly like caved in on itself, and yeah, we're a Halloween household around here. So
the realization came to me when I had some friends over from work, like in May.
Yeah.
And a couple people had made the comment of, "Oh, you guys didn't get all your Halloween decorations up yet," and I'm just like, "Oh, it's May."
Yeah,
it's like, no, we look like we're a horror antique shop. Not until new people come over and point that stuff out that I really realized.
Yeah, and I just got rid of a tote this year of Halloween decorations.
Oh, nice.
But it was like, it was kind of like knick-knacky stuff. It wasn't anything crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be January 1st as I'm taking the Christmas stuff down, or just after into the first week of January that I'm taking Christmas stuff down. And I've got I take a Santa off the wall, and then I notice in the shelf next to him there's still a little Frankenstein. And then I'm like, ooh, I got to put him away with the Halloween stuff too. So yeah, we just have so much. We have so much stuff. It's all over.
Yep.
We discussed too what to do for Halloween, for movies anyway. And I think one of our our first loves, and I think one of our first interests. One of our first interests with starting the podcast was just talking about horror anthologies. So it was kind of a no-brainer for us for the month of Halloween, pick a couple of horror anthologies and talk about them. Mm-hmm. So we chose Dr. Terror's House of Horrors, and I forget which is the other one we're going to release.
The House That Dripped Blood?
Yeah, The House That Dripped Blood. Now, just doing some research on this film, too, it's kind of interesting to see how much Amicus itself started leaning into the horror anthology game. I believe after this movie, after Dr. Terror's House of Horror, it seems like the producer Milton Subotsky got very into these types of films, and I assume they're inexpensive to make, clearly, from this film, and they are, but I'm sure they make money because they at least made money at the time, because who doesn't want to go see short, scary segments that are and maybe just in Europe. I'm not sure how well they did overseas here. In the U.S., but it seems like there's so many of them, they must have been successful, at least to some degree. They made the studio some money. So, this was first in the series of Amicus anthologies. These anthologies included Tales from the Crypt and The Vault of Horror, which I think we should definitely do on the pod. What did you... I mean, before we get into it, we've got we got 5 segments with both a prologue and an epilogue. What did you think of the movie as a whole? And we can get into likes and dislikes, but did you have any kind of overall vibe or feelings?
I feel like I liked the interaction with the through line story better than the stories. Yeah, so I liked the interaction with the gentleman on the train car.
Yeah,
I liked their banter back and forth. What this specific anthology movie, because I didn't realize it was the first Amicus anthology movie.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was the first.
I think it is.
Is it? Because it is definitely early on.
Well, the thing about it is that I feel like these movies are more of a comfortable watch. Yeah. Because this movie, I have to believe that this movie is maybe one of the weaker entries in the anthology movies. But that's not to say I don't like it. It's still it's digestible because the stories are so short.
Yeah.
Easily digestible, I should say.
Yeah, I mean I agree with all that. I think watching it, there are some interesting things. I think just overall, this film gave me more questions than answers. I have so many questions. For one thing, Adam, these segments are just imagine somebody was gonna read your tarot cards, mm-hmm. and they said, after you get home tonight, you're gonna be killed by Frankenstein.
That's spooky.
Yeah, that just. But then
I don't want to live in that world.
But how would you treat that?
I mean, if these guys are in any indication, I would say, wait, that's going to happen to me?
I know. After the first guy, they all should have been get out of here, you weirdo. What are you talking about? Yeah. It's hey, do you want to read your future? Yeah. You're going to be attacked by a werewolf.
Yeah.
Or maybe.
Yep.
It's hey, but you said I was going to die, but I didn't. Well, you will eventually. Okay, well... It's a weird future. I don't know. It just seems and maybe not a future, but just your reading.
Yeah, there's a couple of these, at the end where it's wait, I'm not dead at all.
Yeah, the other thing is it's he's one day you will own a new house, but there will be a chud in the basement. Oh no! Is it gonna kill me?
No. He'll live with you. It's fine.
Probably, or there'll be a twist. Not a very good one, but there'll be one. Like, okay, thank you, I guess. Would you like to hear the taglines, Adam?
Yes.
Number 1, the fear of the year.
All right.
Yeah. I like this one because it's not, the previous 2 films claim to be the scariest thing you will ever see. Those films were The Dunwich Horror and Dr. Phibes, which is a horror comedy.
Yeah.
And this one just says the fear of the year. After that, you're good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
The next tagline says, for the first time on any screen, zombies, vampires, ghouls, voodoo rites. And I said maybe they were counting on people who've never seen a movie.
Yeah.
You know, like,
I wonder.
I think they meant together. You'll never see, like, you've never seen zombies, vampires, ghouls, and voodoo rites together on screen.
Maybe. I wonder if I would have been born in the era of when EC horror comics, like the William Gaines Vault of Horror, Tales from the Crypt magazines first came out. I wonder if, when you said this movie came out in '69,
yeah,
I wonder if by that time, if the folks who had read those comic books, I wonder if they'd be excited for stuff like that, because I feel like when something's described that way, where it's just like every spooky monster you can imagine, and clearly you go watch the movie like there's no zombies. What are you talking about? I think it's just like a pass. Like, okay, it's creepy stuff. I get it.
Yeah, I think honestly, I truly believe when they say zombie, they mean the hand.
Could be.
I think the zombie hand. I think that's what they're referring to. The person was like, well, we can't say like vampires, ghouls, voodoo rites, errant hand.
Yeah, that hand. That hand is in a lot of these movies. That same exact hand.
We will get there.
It's terrific.
Would you like the last tagline, Adam?
Yes.
It's ghastly. It's horrific. It's out of this world. Which makes it sound like
aliens. Yeah. I mean, it's fine.
Yeah. Maybe in like the vampire episode, like Alien Lands.
I'm shocked that they didn't use any like play on like the House of Horrors.
Yeah, that would be the go-to, right? Yeah. A train headed to fear.
Destination horror.
Also, hell, or maybe just the afterlife, possibly purgatory.
Really, we haven't landed on it yet.
Clarification undetermined.
By the time this train stops, we'll know where we're going.
Did they die in those stories, or did they die after the stories on the train?
We'll leave it up to you.
Would you like to get into this film, Adam, and start talking?
Let's do it.
All right. So we have a prologue. And the prologue is 5 men are entering a train compartment at a London station, and they are headed for the fictional town of Bradley. The 5 men are Franklin Marsh, played by Christopher Lee, who is an art critic; Jim Dawson, played by Neil McCullum, who is an architect; Hopkins, who is played by Bernard Lee, and I believe he's a gardener of some sort, or
I don't know what he does.
I don't know what he does either.
Yeah.
Smart college man.
He's a vacationer. Coming home from vacation.
Donald Sutherland, who's a doctor. I don't know what his character's name is. Oh, I think I do actually. It's in the segment. But Donald Sutherland is there, and he is a doctor
who famously played Hawkeye in the MASH movie.
Yes, okay. So we've got some Hawkeye ties from the pumpkin outside to
there we go.
Donald Sutherland.
Yeah.
And then Roy Castle, who is playing a musician. And I have his name in there as well when we get to the segment. And then there's just a bunch of other actors and actresses too. I didn't write any of those down, so we'll have to just kind of very generally discuss. But then Peter Cushing soon joins them on the train. I knew Peter Cushing was in this film. I did not recognize him, and it took me a little bit.
Oh wow!
Because I actually thought the makeup there was pretty good. I thought it was okay. They made him look like a crazy old homeless tarot reader.
Yep.
An unhoused man who is
Yep.
Reading people's futures and destinies on a deck of cards on a train because joke's on you.
He's normally so well kept and doesn't normally have like the unibrow or the the beard stubble. So yeah.
So they are. Peter Cushing says, or maybe one of them. I'm not sure. He's room for one more or less, when he gets to their train compartment, and they invite him in, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that's fine." And they've got kind of banter going on, as you said. They're all discussing, and you get Christopher Lee's a pretentious kind of snob with bad attitude.
Steals the show.
It's great.
Yep.
He's fantastic.
Yep. A fuss budget.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you kind of get a sense these guys are, I don't know, they're sociable enough, and what's a good way to put that? They're
affable.
Affable.
I mean, Christopher Lee is not. That character, Franklin Marsh, he's the one. He's just very. He doesn't believe in, like. I guess what happens is Dr. Terror, Dr. Shrek.
Yeah, Peter Cushing.
He falls asleep and his bag falls off his lap and tarot cards spill out.
Yeah.
So then they all help get the cards picked up for him, and so then they start having a discussion about what the tarot cards are all about.
Yeah. Yeah, Christopher Lee's like, hey, why this tarot card has a hand choking me? What's that all about? He's like, I'll get there. I'll get there. Yeah.
No, do me first. No.
No, not you. Why does this one have a plant choking my dog? Just wait. You got to tap it 3 times first. Jeez. But yeah, at that point, Peter Cushing is like, well, I can, I read. I don't know if it's futures. I read deaths. I read destinies. I don't know.
You're talking Dr. Shrek.
Dr. Shrek.
Okay,
yeah, Cushing. I don't know what the overall. He just reads tarot.
I mean, that must be his job.
Exactly.
Yep.
And so then he convinces, or they kind of go back and forth that they're dismissive. They don't believe him. But then
somebody makes a joke about the tarot cards.
Yeah.
He's like, do not make fun of my cards.
Don't make fun of me.
Good. I keep them in the plastic cases.
Yes.
They do not get frayed edges. Be careful.
He stood up with his finger in the air and his pants fell down, and he had to pull them up really fast. And he said, don't make light of me.
Do not look at my butt. He does describe his tarot deck as his house of horrors.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, legitimately, he calls them his house of horrors.
When we, at the end, we need to dissect this idea, because I don't know. Thematically, I don't know what's going on with this movie. I don't know what they're trying to. It is, and I don't know what they're trying to say. But we start with Neil McCullum, who is going up, looking.
Jim Dawson,
and Jim is an architect. And he says, yeah, you can read my tarot. You can read my future. Tell me how I'm going to die. Because I think that's part of it. He says, these cards can tell you how you're going to die.
I don't know if he says that implicitly at the beginning. I believe that he's just like, I can read your tarot. And then by the time we fade back into the train car, he's like, wait, it's going to happen to me?
Yeah.
Like,
because at some point, one of the guys is like, oh, well, it's going to happen anyway. So you might as well tell me what my future is.
Yeah.
Or my death.
Mm. Yes, as it goes along, they start to understand that, well, yeah.
And Peter Cushing's like, well, it's not just death. It's also like other stuff, too.
Right.
Yeah, creepy, right? So we get to the first segment, which is called Werewolf. And I don't think they put any kind of name on it, but these are just the segment titles I saw.
No, these are the segment. At the end, they show all the segment titles, and they're just this one's about a werewolf.
Yes.
This one's about
like werewolf, vampire,
creeping vine,
zombie hand. So Jim Dawson moves into his old family home on the Scottish Isle, but he's making renovations for the new owner of the home.
Yes, he is. He's an architect, so he's out there to help the widow do some
yes, but it's his old family home.
Correct.
Okay, so there's like relations on both sides, and you've got Deirdre Biddulph.
Yes.
And Bedulph is reeling from the death of her husband, and she's looking to dedicate a room to him as some kind of like, I don't know if it's a museum or what it is exactly, but some kind of dedication room.
Her husband was an archaeologist, and she wants to like display all of his stuff.
Yes. And so he's like, cool, I can do that. But he starts kind of exploring, and they're doing minor renovations. And then one evening he, with the, is that the butler?
He's like the groundskeeper, Caleb.
Yes, and then the housemaid.
Valda.
They come to a wall.
Which is interesting that her name is Valda, because the last name is Valdemar. So
yeah.
her name is potentially Valda Valdemar?
Is it her name, though?
I'm going to say yes,
so
because I like that name.
Because Valdemar is, the case is in the
case of M.
Yeah, M. Valdemar from Tales of Terror. But they come to a wall, and they like knock on it, and it's hollow. And so Jim, should we call him Mr. Dawson? We have his first and last name.
Yeah.
Jim knocks on the wall with a crowbar and starts kind of like knocking it out. And it turns out there's like a whole basement tomb back there as he knocks it out. And they find a coffin dedicated to one
Cosmo Valdemar.
It's kind of a cool. I like the setting that it's very very theater driven, but it's a crypt.
Yeah.
Tomb.
Yep.
It's cool. It's a contrast to the home itself, which is kind of an old Victorian hardwood thing, and then you have this just concrete slab of a crypt in the basement with cobwebs and replete with cobwebs and spiders and all sorts of spookies.
And doesn't Caleb say like right away when they find the coffin of Cosmo Valdemar, doesn't he say, yeah, he was a werewolf?
Yeah, so the local legend is tied to Valdemar in that he will rise again and reclaim his former home, taking revenge on the owner. But yeah, the groundskeeper is like, don't mess with that, because he's a werewolf.
He's a werewolf. Be careful.
Jim's like, okay.
Keep your fingers away from there.
Am I still getting paid? Dawson or Jim is continues to work on the house, and then realizes that
I'd like to point out that they get the wall knocked out where they're where the coffin is, and Dawson, he's got a crowbar. He's trying to work the lid off, and it occurred to me that from movie to movie, sometimes these lids push right off. Like a young lady can just push a lid off.
Yeah.
And sometimes a crowbar, like he never got the coffin open. Like he's just like, this is really hard. And that seems more like things would be. Like,
I feel like that's I feel like that.
But then after they leave, a scary werewolf hand comes out of the coffin.
Which I like. I like the fake werewolf hand. This movie does love hands.
It does.
I have a book of werewolf folklore. I believe it's just called Werewolf, and it seems to be it's old. It's older, I should say. It's from the 60s or 70s, and it appears to be just like a PhD thesis on the folklore of werewolves with illustrations and talking about who's that, Patrick Stumpa, the guy with the werewolf of Bedburg, who would like eat children and people, and they eventually like pulled all of his skin off and put him on they tied him to a wheel and broke all his limbs and cut his head off and did all this stuff. But within that book, grisly, I know, medieval times.
Yeah.
How do you punish a mass murderer? You flay him. As a society, you flay him, and you make him regret it. But within that book, one of the things it discusses about werewolves is that werewolves were the undead, and that before Lon Chaney Jr. and before our modern interpretation of sexy werewolves who take their shirts off and
Benicio del Toro.
Yes, I mean he is a sexy werewolf, but also Twilight werewolves too.
Yes,
I was thinking also Anthony Hopkins, sexy werewolf,
of course.
But they were seen as the undead, revenants, and so that they would come back to life in order to undo some wrong or in some cases just satiate their bloodlust for killing and maiming. I looked up a couple of things just kind of verify this. The one thing I found is that of Greek origin that claims werewolves were undead creatures that would rise at night to kill, returning to their human forms by daylight. So I think their corpses would return to human, even though their nightly bodies would be possessed of wolf, monster, that sort of thing. And the only way to kill these creatures was to decapitate them with a shovel, and then a priest would perform an exorcism. I don't know why it has to be a shovel. I think it was probably just anything that would do that. But then a priest would perform an exorcism on the corpse itself. For
example, a cross that used to be a sword that's turned into bullets.
This segment should have been a movie. I think there's enough meat here, and I actually like the idea. I like the premise. Yeah, and I like getting into that aspect of werewolf folklore.
Yeah.
That's not always seen. I think if maybe if the, if the Amicus, they weren't so I would assume greedy, and they were like, let's just pump out as many of these as possible. They probably could have taken some of these segments and made some pretty good films.
Well, on top of that, I mean, how many movies have you seen from this era that kind of are the same thing over and over and over again? So why not just take some of these?
How many films end with a house on fire and Vincent Price running around with his hands over his head?
That's right.
Like Kermit the Frog.
So yeah, I mean,
yeah. So I think that's anyway. I bring that up because you just don't see that often. I thought that was kind of neat. The werewolf is coming out of a tomb every night and is feasting on denizens of the home. I think in this way, Velda. The werewolf rises and kills Velda, the housemaid.
Yep.
Excuse me, I had a sparkling apple cider, and now it's
the perfect drink for an audio podcast.
That's right.
Belch.
It's now rising up in my throat every few minutes.
I'll point out too that before Velda gets killed, Deidre Bedolf, the owner of the home, she came home and said, "Oh, I see that you got the basement door open." And Dawson says, "Yeah, have you been down there?" And she looked left and looked right and said, "No."
Spaceballs. Would I lie? It looks both ways. So Jim, this is at that point that you brought up a little bit ago, but Jim uses an ancestral cross to turn into 6 silver bullets. That was once a sword that killed the monster.
That part I had never paid attention to before. Where it's like, oh wait, it used to be another thing.
Yeah, and that it had already killed the monster. Right. So one of Jim's ancestors had this mighty werewolf killing sword. I want to know more about that. Give me that story. Instead, he got this bumbling dork who's traipsing around a house and a lady who clearly is doing something wrong.
Smashing walls open with a crowbar. I'm an architect.
What's in here? Hey, this just right into the bathroom. Valdez.
Caleb's pooping. What are you doing?
Hey, did I tell you he was a werewolf? Now pass the toilet paper. Sorry. He's trying to put the wall back up. So he makes these bullets. The werewolf emerges. Jim corners it and fires multiple times, but the bullets don't do anything, and the werewolf runs by.
It makes the werewolf run away.
That's true. It does snarl, and then it knocks him down and jumps over him and goes elsewhere.
Right.
Jim then runs up to protect Miss Bedolf, who is in her room. And he closes the door and locks it. He's like, "We're safe in here." And then she says, she just, I guess, gives the whole line of exposition about how the curse was that Valdemar would take revenge on the last descendant of the Dawson clan, not the house's owner. And then they would also have to take Jim, and they would have to replace his body with the werewolf body in the tomb so that the werewolf could go to human form. And then Bedolf has claws.
She has monster hands.
Yeah, she has monster hands, and then kills him. That's that. The thing is, we have a cross.
Makes total sense to me.
We have a cross that was a sword.
That's right.
That killed a werewolf. To get him, because the werewolf wants to get him to go into the tomb that it was in.
Yes.
So that the werewolf could become human form.
Mm-hmm.
All of this is fine, but this is not a short story. This is not a short segment on a train. It then woodly like going back forward in time, like it does. What do you call that? Where the screen is
like a flashback or a...
Yeah, it flashes forward.
Yeah.
And Jim's on the train, and he's like, "Whoa, that's gonna happen."
Well, no, it would have been flashback.
Oh, because it already happened.
Well, no.
Well, it would have.
Well, that depends.
Okay,
that
right,
depends because did the train crash?
Right. We'll get there.
Yeah.
But the
like maybe Shrek he did something to mess with the train, and he knows it's going to crash, so he's just like, I'm going to have little funsies and just tell them stories about how they think they're going to die.
Yeah, so because he's telling them stories, so they are going to die that way if the train hadn't crashed.
That I don't know.
Is that so? Why tell them these crazy stories?
Maybe this is a multiverse thing,
and it might be. Yeah. But I think going back to what I had mentioned in the beginning. If somebody told me that story and they're like, "Oh, hey, you're a teacher, and one day you're gonna go into this house, and it turns out there's Frankenstein is in the basement, and he wants you to make him a companion.
You have to sit in Frankenstein's chair, so that Frankenstein doesn't have to sit in the chair anymore."
Yes,
yep.
And then, but joke's on you, you're gonna die.
Right.
And then I would just be like, "What are you talking about?"
And after I tell you this story, you're going to die in a train crash.
I just you're a lunatic. You're crazy.
Yeah.
But Jim's like, "Oh my God, that's terrifying." Now, can I hear everybody else's story?
Well, he said, and I think at least 3 people say the exact same thing. Wait, that's going to happen to me? Yeah. Like they literally just say that.
Do you think while Peter Cushing's telling the next story, everybody's just kind of are they paying attention, or do you think that it's like werewolf hands?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't think werewolves were undead. You have to kill them with a shovel. What is this?
Everybody knows that.
Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Yeah, very strange. Also, did he they were just going to wait until he was like banging around on walls with a crowbar to find the tomb, or was there a plan there? I don't remember.
I don't know because he has to ask for the key
to
get downstairs.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't
right.
Why wouldn't she have made it more like just unlock the door?
Yeah.
Just unlock the door forever.
Just one night there's a sound, and maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
Did we miss that?
Well, because you had to fit this entire story into 7 minutes.
And to fix that, the salve. Hey, let's put an ancestral cross on the wall that that's got this crazy backstory. It's like a weapon from Dungeons and Dragons.
Right.
It's like this sword was actually the soul of
it's
a long
dead. It's a Vorpal
dead
cross.
Yeah.
The thing about it is that you could have killed the werewolf with the cross. It's so
it doesn't have
it's
to be.
so odd. And then just off screen, he's like, I'm gonna have to turn this sword turned cross into bullets. And then the next scene, he's just cut the bullets. Like,
yeah.
What does that?
And then
take?
the bullets don't do anything.
Right.
So those bullets still exist.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. That also tells us that in the real world, there's just like somebody's walking around who used to be an undead werewolf. Like, I don't know. It's just, I guess. This next segment is called The Creeping Vine. And Bill Rogers and his wife Anne and daughter Carol return from holiday to find a fast-growing vine in their garden. Of course, this is, Peter Cushing has asked the Bill Rogers to tap on the cards 3 times, and then they go into this kind of like flash forward, I guess.
And in between each of these stories, when they're doing the whole tarot card thing, Christopher Lee at least looks annoyed.
Yes.
But he's normally like, this is rubbish. Just like,
he talks smack like the entire time.
He's like, you're a fraud and a charlatan.
Yeah. And it's really young Christopher Lee. So I think they were like, hey, this guy's really good at acting. And everybody else is kind of like, meh. Let's give him more lines.
Well,
thank you.
He had already been doing Hammer films, him and Cushing had.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It just seems, there's something we'll get to, but Yeah. I guess that's right.
There is a scene, and there's many interactions with Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing in the train car, but there is a scene like when Peter Cushing first sits down and Christopher Lee and Cushing are in the same shot and they kind of look at each other. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's a very proto Easter egg where it's like true fans of the genre are like, oh, this is cool.
Oh, I got it.
I like it.
Because you're there and I'm here and you were that and I am this.
Yeah.
Bill Rogers attempts to, we'll call him Bill, he attempts to cut the vine that has been growing in their garden plot or next to the house, and the plant like knocks the
hedge trimmers
out of his hand.
Yeah.
And then now we have a reoccurring thing where it cuts back and forth, where Bill is talking to a plant specialist or somebody at the college.
The Ministry of Defense?
Okay, yeah,
something
maybe that's
like
what
that,
it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He must be some sort of like government worker?
That could be. Government gardener?
I don't know. His name is Bill Rogers, so I'm just assuming.
In a few short years, they're going to give him the superhuman serum that they gave to Captain America.
Yep.
Steve Rogers.
Mm-hmm. He'll become Captain Britain.
That's right. Yeah, because he's Bill Rogers. Rogers consults the Ministry of Defense is what I have.
Okay.
And he receives advice from two scientists. So what we see is that the vine is displaying like its own intelligence. It has self-preservation. It wants to survive. So when the dog comes up to it and starts playing around, it just kills it. The plant just kills the dog.
And there's like no waiting on whether, in a lot of these types of segments in movies, the monster is kind of hidden for a minute. Like the second shot after they got back from holiday, you see the plant just kind of moving around by itself. Like it's just clear that the plant's a monster.
Well, they only have 7 minutes to tell a
That's
story.
True. That's true.
What do you want? That's a full scene where they're making silver bullets to shoot the plant.
Not at all. I don't need backstory, that's for sure.
We then, the dog is dead. The daughter is sad that the dog is dead. And then we get Jerry Drake, who's one of the scientists that Bill Rogers consulted. He comes over and he's doing some tests, and he's working in the next to the open window. Mm-hmm. And then very slowly, somebody with a vine on a stick pushes it through the window and towards Jerry Drake.
Well, at first, Anne, the mom?
Yeah, Anne. Yeah, Anne.
Anne asks Jerry, do you want lunch? And he's like, I'm far too busy. And she's like, do you want tea and sandwiches? He's like, yes. It's like, so you do want lunch.
So English do it differently.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a brunch. That's
second breakfast.
Do you want a sandwich and some chips? Ugh, that's too much. Sandwich and some tea? Just right.
Yep.
I'm English after all. So the vines crawl into the window and strangle Jerry, and then the wife comes in and discovers the body. We then have the other scientist who Bill Rogers consulted now is at the house with Bill and his wife and his daughter, and the vines have like encircled the house.
Yes.
And like keeping them from going outside. And the scientist from the Ministry of Defense is like, how do we stop these vines? And he starts smoking his pipe.
Well, he tries to make a phone call, and the plant goes, rip, and just like cuts the phone line.
It's like a little serial killer.
Yep.
And then he's smoking his pipe, and then the pipe, like the smoke, pushes the vines away.
The flame.
Oh, the flame of it. And then, do you want to finish this?
The dude just makes his way out of the house. He's just like, see ya. And the other scientist, a very Ed Begley looking individual, he has
magic spell incantations, just like from the Dunwich Horror.
He has a newspaper that he's set on fire, and he's like kind of waving it at the vines, and the vines are kind of recoiling, and he throws it on the ground, and he drives away. I don't believe he says, I'll be back for you guys. I think he's just like, I'm out of here.
I'm out of here, yeah. He
and
escapes.
then you see the vines like patting the fire or the flame out. So they're like, not even flame can keep them away for that long. So my last note is, plants take over the world?
Yeah. Right. That, like the previous one, there's just now like an all-powerful undead werewolf.
Is this happening everywhere? Is
That's
it
what
just happening?
Well, it's not, because they're all dead on a train.
Oh.
But the vine would still be there.
Right.
It's regardless of his intervention.
Yeah.
Bill Rogers can die on the train, and the plant will still take over the world. So yes.
The one
Amicus is telling us yes.
There's a part of this story where the Jerry, the scientist, is like looking under a leaf and under the microscope, and he's like, a brain, just as I thought. It's like, wait a second. There's a brain in each leaf?
Oh no.
Yep.
That's so great.
Yep.
That is so great. And so what happened to Bill? Because it cuts back to Bill, and he's on the train, and he's like, oh, well, I survived with my family.
Well, that's the thing. It couldn't have happened yet. That's the thing that we're.
But why tell him that story?
And also, if he's already dead on a train, how does that?
Why does that
when
matter?
will it happen?
That's what I'm saying. I don't understand. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter. The only thing, it would only matter if death, Peter Cushing, spoiler alert, turns out Peter Cushing is death. Dr. Terror is actually death. It's a little dollar store skeleton in a black robe. If his orders are to get them to the afterlife, hell, whatever it is.
His orders.
Yes, and they're like, it's going to take 2 hours to get there. Can you kill some time? He's like, I'm death. That's all I do is kill time.
I think that, yes, it must be something where he's just like having a laugh with himself, where it's like, yeah, this is how you're going to die.
And, okay, listeners, you didn't catch that, but Adam did the biggest eye roll. Yes, this is how you die.
Yeah.
So it's
because this can't happen after the train
arrives. It can't. Yeah.
But they also don't know that it happened yet.
Right. And so, but
or is the train the afterlife?
Do you think death is also just a bad storyteller? Because all these stories are terrible, and they don't go anywhere. And then he's like, yeah, and then a bunch of plants take over the world.
Right. It's like the birds, but plants this time.
I want to hear Peter Cushing telling these stories. And then,
right.
And then he takes the newspaper and it's on fire and he throws it in the yard.
And then the scientist and Bill Rogers watch a short informational film on plants.
Yeah. And then the scientist says, "Yes, a brain, just as I suspected." Could you imagine?
Yeah.
You're listening to him talk and you're like, "This is my story?"
He doesn't want sandwich. He wants sandwiches and tea, but not lunch. Dr. Terror, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about? Just wait. Wait for the end of the story. It gets good.
It's very creepy.
It gets good. Yeah, very strange. One of the ones where I don't believe the person is even... It's so funny that we're talking about this because my last note for the segment is, why were the stories necessary if they were already dead? Why tell them that they were killed by a host of monsters if they were just going to get another reveal? Did Death spend time creating that newspaper that fell out of the sky? Did he do that?
Yeah. That's the only way to think. I mean, yes. I mean,
he was like...
Maybe part of it is, like... People have different interpretations of hell, but maybe what it is it's like he's just frustrating them because they're like, maybe he's frustrating us. Yeah. Maybe Death is working on us as the viewer, where it's like we don't really know what's going on.
Yeah, it just seems very. It's a long way to go about this.
Yeah,
and because if you look at Tales from the Crypt and Vault of Horror, there's more logic there. I would say, does it all line up? No, but
with the through line, it does.
Yeah, so
Tales
the
from the Crypt
stories
specifically, they're sitting in that tomb area, and
this is how you died. Now you must go to hell.
Right.
This is how you might die, but no, you're already dead.
Did he say might?
Isn't that it though? Isn't that why you read tarot cards?
Why would he?
Isn't that you get tarot cards so you can get a sense of what your future will be?
But plants is so specific. Like plants with brains in every one of their leaves? Come on.
Not unless he's saying, here is how you died. But they didn't. They died on a train because the train crashed. So why? So it's not how they died to get to hell. How they died to get to hell was the train crash.
Did they go to hell?
I don't know. It looked pretty dark there, and he's a skeleton in a black robe.
Yeah,
that doesn't look like heaven to me.
Right.
And now they just go stand on a platform and think about the plot and how they got there. They have to wonder why there was a werewolf in a basement if they died on a train. So weird.
It is.
So weird.
Yeah.
We now have like the most racist segment in the history of cinema. Do we want to talk about this one? I have something else we could talk about.
We could, yeah, for sure.
I mean, did we just want to just Biff Bailey, who's a jazz musician? They end up going to the West Indies. There's just issues. It's about voodoo and the fact that Hollywood, in real life, Hollywood more or less manufactured this idea of voodoo. If you don't know, it's a very cinematic thing to say, okay, here's other cultures are spooky and dangerous, and we should be scared of them because they use black magic, and us as white imperialists, we don't do that.
Mm-hmm. But we're going to co-opt their music.
Yes. Yeah. And so then there was something about that as well, which is like with jazz music and co-opting even jazz music, post Harlem Renaissance, and even before, but even, but also saying something to the effect of like music played by, anyone who's not white, who's not a man, who's not of European ancestry, that music is dangerous, and it needs to be made civilized,
put through the filter of us,
in order for it to be palatable and clean and approachable.
Yep.
That's this whole segment. It's just racial stereotypes, voodoo dancing. It's very problematic, and I would say every single conceivable angle.
Yeah, and it's a bad story.
And the story's not good.
It's real bad. The something that occurred to me, yes, I mean, very problematic. The thing that I thought was interesting, because in the title credits it says the Tubby Hayes Quartet.
Yeah,
I believe
so.
So then when we get to the story, you said Biff Bailey?
Biff Bailey.
So Biff Bailey is like the trumpet player
yeah.
for this fictional band, but the band is actually called the Tubby Hayes Quartet.
Yeah.
So there's one scene in the movie where I think Sammy, the guy from the guy that they meet in the West Indies, his name is Sammy.
Yes.
He's an African American or a
West Indian.
But
that's even imperialistic.
But his name is Sammy. I mean,
yeah.
of like.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. Anyway,
I mean, are you talking like in the sense like Rat Packy?
Yes, they would know this name because there's another African American person with this name. So
yeah,
let's be as lazy.
Even Sammy Davis Jr. That cultural integration came because he was with three.
Yeah.
White dudes.
Yep.
And there's a history of even taking like black musicians who were playing, like Freddie King, playing blues music on TV and just like, hey, comb your hair in this way.
Yeah.
So that and smile,
mm-hmm.
and you have to smile a lot. And, make sure you're dancing around doing that whole thing because then it's less intimidating for white people. That was the perception.
Right.
It's exactly what you're talking about, right? It's
sure. Yeah.
It's this kind of, I hate to say it, but it is like, it's that minstrel behavior that was so heavy in antebellum South, and then even just moving through like even Jim Crow and all that stuff. So really not good. And then you have Biff Bailey, who's like hiding behind some trees watching like a voodoo ritual, and he's like, hey, this music's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm going to write this down and take it.
Yep.
And I'm going to steal it. And so it's like there's that baked into it. So I don't know.
So what I'm getting at as well is that they have this Tubby Hayes Quartet, and there's the scene where Biff Bailey meets Sammy after Sammy does one of his terrible songs.
Yeah.
Sammy says, they introduce themselves, Biff and Sammy, and then I'm assuming the titular Tubby has one line in the movie, and he says, Tubby, and he shakes his hand. Now, Tubby has a lot of screen time in this this episode of the movie.
Yeah.
I wonder if the producers like saw this band and they were like, "Hey, you're pretty good. You want to be in this movie?" And like we even like have a place for you to say who you are in the movie. Like this Tubby Hayes guy, one line in the entire movie.
Because there's like it's very. I mean, it's very clearly it's like cool jazz. It's very like it's almost like a. It almost reminds me of like Dave Brubeck. It's got kind of a take 5 rhythm. There's a little bit of push to it, and there's like a just soloing and improv, and there's very definitive melody. The thing is, it's just so racist.
Yeah.
It's just every element that's not Biff Bailey is offensive.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing I wanted to bring up and talk about, because outside of the segment, is John Carpenter has a quote in which he says there are 2 different stories in horror, and there's internal and external stories. In external horror films, the evil comes from the outside, the other tribe. The thing in the darkness that we don't understand, and internal is the human heart. And so I was thinking about that watching this segment, because it's very clear that this is like, different people. It's Omega Man. The mutants are the other.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
They are the monsters we should be afraid of because we don't understand them.
Mm-hmm.
And so much so that like voodoo is a Hollywood manufactured idea, right? Well, there are voodoo practitioners, I'll put quotes around that. In my best estimation, that's still just a mischaracterization of the complexities of culture and theology and religion to say like, oh, voodoo is people doing curses and like you have a doll that you stab to make you sick. Like that's just,
and it makes uneducated people think about a certain thing.
Yes. Yeah. And that's it's like, oh, this segment's scary because of the other.
Yeah.
The thing I don't understand, that must be true.
Right. And the thing about it is like there's this scene where Biff Bailey is standing behind the trees writing stuff down.
Yeah.
And then every time it cuts away, you have another member of the tribe standing behind him.
Yeah.
As the viewer, we're supposed to be worried about Biff.
Right.
But if we thought about it in the other context of what are you doing in our area stealing our music? But that's not what we're supposed to.
And it's also painting this picture. It's just like with indigenous Americans. It's painting this picture that they live in teepees, and they live in tents. And it's like, no, they live in homes and they have the internet. I don't, like, what are you talking about? Like, it's just bad. Mm-hmm. And then the beginning's bad, and then the middle's bad, and the ending's also bad. Mm-hmm. It ends badly, and then it cuts back to Biff Bailey on the train, and he's like, that was so racist. And Peter Cushing's like, just hold on, I got a few more stories. It's like, why'd you tell me that story? That was offensive. He's like, I only have 2 more to go. Leave me alone. Anything you wanted to add to that awful segment?
It's like the I kind of got the comeback vibes.
Yeah.
As far as the music manager.
Yeah.
Very much like he walks into a room halfway through the song and he's just like, yeah. Good stuff. You guys are killing it.
Oh, the comeback where what was his name?
Oh no.
I'm not gonna be able to remember his name.
Yeah, for a good reason.
Yeah. But he's that music is playing and it's just so like thematic and orchestral. And then it's just not music that's going to grab the world and but the producer's like, this is dynamite.
Yeah.
The same thing. Yeah, same thing. Luckily we go to the disembodied hand. After some kind of nudging.
Now, and it's an interesting that they wouldn't save the Christopher Lee story till the end. That was surprising to me.
Yeah. I think I like the next one better than I like this one.
I think
I like.
I think I'm gonna save which one I like the best.
Okay.
I don't think you're gonna like it. No.
No, that was we both. That's
take my
our
button-down shirt off to reveal a Biff Bailey is tops. T-shirt.
Yeah, you're wrong about that estimation. That's not what I was trying to say. We both, that should not be. We both loved segment 3 so much. So we finally get Peter Cushing is kind of prodded nagged into getting his.
Franklin Marsh, Christopher Lee.
Yeah.
It's his turn to.
And so
get his terror.
Everyone's disgusted by that story Peter Cushing just told. And so they're like, can you tell us one that's less of that? And he's like, oh, I've got just the one. And so we cut to Christopher Lee is a pompous art critic.
Well, before you start this one, I just want to also, going back to what we were talking about as far as Peter Cushing telling the stories.
Yes.
Did he sing the entirety of the songs in the third one?
He's doing the instrumental part.
He's doing like some Mel Torme scat.
Would we be shocked if he's actually playing like a crazy person on a train, and he's just like completely like they don't want him around. He's staying too long. And he's like, oh, okay, please.
He's got like that Dick Van Dyke machine where it's got like the drum on the back, and he's playing like the.
And the song sounded something like
he's
this.
Throwing plates. Yeah.
Yeah, and then just tells him the worst, most boring story after. Like, wow. So Christopher Lee is an art critic. And he is, he's antagonistic. As we mentioned, he's been very cutting the whole film. So between segments, he's kind of throwing in jabs and talking about how Peter Cushing is a charlatan, this sort of thing. So the story kind of begins with him publicly humiliating Eric Landor, who's an artist, during a critique. Landor then turns around and exposes Marsh's ignorance by showing him art that he criticizes, which turns out...
No, he says that he really likes this. Like he keeps...
Oh, okay.
Marsh keeps talking smack about Landor's art.
Yeah.
But then Landor shows him another piece of art, and Christopher Lee is just... Marsh is just talking so highly about it. And then a monkey painted it.
Yeah.
And so
they bring him out.
Yeah, the group that's around Marsh start laughing at Marsh.
Yeah, they're like, haha, you don't know anything, you're stupid.
Yeah,
He's like, this story is horrible.
I don't deserve this.
No, it's really bad. It's a really poorly told story. So then Landor continues to mock Marsh at Marsh's appearances around the town, and he's doing live critical analyses of paintings. And he's like, this one sucks. Yeah, but he's going around town doing that, and then Landor will show up in the background and be like, hey, I'm about to make you look like a fool.
Showing him paper monkeys.
Yeah. And so Marsh, to get back at Landor, he
does the only
reasonable thing, and he runs him over with a car late at night while Landor's out walking alone. And it runs over his hand, and so then Landor wakes up and he's got a stump for a hand, and he cries out in agony.
Yeah.
And then
Marsh is sitting around waiting. He's nervous as hell. He's guilty. He's smoking. He's all sweaty and stuff.
Yeah. He's like, "What have I done? I overreacted a little bit by running him over with my car.
I did this little thing."
Oh boy. And then Landor gets a gun and shoots himself in the head.
And immediately, he shoots himself in that, and immediately, Marsh is driving home.
Yeah,
and there's a hand on his back seat immediately. Yeah.
And then Christopher Lee turns his head, sees this like it's a disembodied hand, so it is literally what is that thing from
Addams Family?
Yeah, and starts to like choke him, and he wrestles with it. Throws it out of the car. And then he is still haunted by this hand. It survives fire. He puts it in like a lockbox to try to keep it from getting out. And then eventually the hand attacks him one final time, and Christopher Lee crashes his car, shatters the window, and then we cut to an ambulance that loads up his body, and there's the investigator and the ambulance. What am I thinking of? The medic, the medical person.
Yeah.
They're talking, and he's like, oddly enough, he's like, "Oh, he'll survive. He'll just be blind for the rest of his life." And then you hear Christopher Lee from the ambulance go, "No!" He like screams.
Oh, wait, you do?
Yes. He's like, "Ah!"
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, he's like, immediately goes, he's like, And I don't know how, like, they're kind of talking. They're not, like, right outside. They're kind of, like, talking and moving. And he, like, goes to the back. And he's like, you'll be blind. Yeah. And I don't even know how he knows that.
He said, yeah, exactly. The guy's like, blind people can do a lot of things.
Yeah. He's like, and then, but they just know that from the accident. It's like, yes, there were 2 pieces of wood jammed into both eyes. He's also the doctor.
Yeah. He's also the doctor.
But yeah, I thought it was very humorous because he said he'll never be able to see again, and he's like, he can hear just fine.
Yeah, his ears are wide open for this little.
And then, I said, because at this point, just like it seemed like everybody was going to die or something bad was going to happen. So I was like, I don't know, like, if as Peter Cushing's telling the story, is the last card he lays down, it's just like. It's Christopher Lee. He's blind, but he's dying peacefully in his bed. Like, what's the full outcome of this story?
Right, and it's
he'll never critique again.
We should point out that when they dissolve back to the train car, Christopher Lee has full eyesight.
That's a problem, because that must be that the tarot cards are the ghosts of Christmas future. They tell of futures yet to come.
After they die.
They're already dead, so yes. They're already dead because they're on the train.
Right.
Yes. Not unless, after all the stories end, then they go, oh no, there's like, we have to get off this train now, and then the guy goes to pull the cord. Mm-hmm. And Christopher Lee stops him and says, we don't know how the train is going to crash, so let's just wait. And then they all get off. So not unless all the stories are told and then they die. But I don't think that's true.
So they leave. They see Dr. Terror is really a skeleton.
No, it's before that. Before they ever get off the train to the station, they're still sitting there. So the train crashes at that point. Then they get off the train and they're dead.
But when does Christopher Lee lose his eyesight?
Never. He would have to do it if the train hadn't crashed.
Oh.
Yeah.
So Dr. Terry just doubled down. Like he's a double down guy. He's just like,
my estimation, the train crashed, they're already dead. Dr. Terry shows up because he's death. Mm-hmm. And you only see death if you're dead, I would imagine.
Right.
So they're already dead. I just don't understand why he's reading them.
He's just killing time. He's just killing time.
It's like it's a long train ride to hell. Yeah. About 2 hours, in fact.
Right.
Hour and 30. Yeah. Little less. Some of the stories are shorter.
Right.
Yeah, I don't.
Yes, especially if you fast forward through segment 3.
If you skip segment 3, probably you could skip 2 as well. The creeping vine kind of sucks. It's kind of like it was just put in there and nobody gave a shit.
No.
We get the last segment, Vampire. This stars Donald Sutherland. Oh, 1 second. Who is Dr. Bob Carroll, and he's returning to the U.S. with his new French bride, Nicole. So we get to, I think, his first day practicing, or his first few days at the new hospital.
Bob carries his new wife, through the door. He immediately starts opening a can of something, cuts himself on the can.
Yes, that's right.
His finger's bleeding, and she just starts, sucking on his finger.
Yes, she's salivating at the sight of the blood.
Yeah.
And then also sucking his finger.
Right, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And Hawkeye's like, what?
Wow. So, he didn't know. So we then cut to, there's like a young boy at the hospital, and he has 2 bites on his neck.
Vampire bites.
2, one set of vampire bites on his neck. And his Dr. Carroll, his colleague, Dr. Blake, who's an older doctor, start kind of investigating this. I think they immediately are like, it's a vampire.
when Dr. Blake and Nicole meet each other, because Blake picks Bob up for his first day, they both they introduce each other. They introduce themselves to each other.
Yeah,
and they kind of like have this stare between the two of them, which was not explained to us in that moment.
Dr. Blake and Nicole?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
They share a knowing glance about something, but we don't know what that is.
I put that together this morning.
What's that?
and at the end of this segment, I didn't really understand because it was so confusing. Also, the movie.
Yes.
So then I was like, oh, but I went, oh, and I went right back to what I was doing. I didn't care that much. So they, Dr. Blake, he's like, I know how to fix this. I'm going to hang out with a handgun in that kid's room until a vampire shows up. I don't know. They just put it together.
When they see the boy's neck with the vampire bite,
Dr.
Blake, he says something that's interesting, like further confusing in this series of stories.
Yeah.
But he says, if this were medieval times, I would think it was a vampire. And then later,
that's weird.
Bob, Donald Sutherland, he says something about, in this day and age, a vampire. Now, that's two examples of where vampires did used to exist in this world.
Yeah. So maybe this is the back to the werewolf thing.
Yeah, like
somehow.
Like we're at an age now where vampires just don't exist anymore.
So
they were like dinosaurs.
They just do in this world, in this universe, is what you're saying?
They must, because, if this were medieval times, maybe this would have been a vampire.
I see. And Donald Sutherland's like...
in this day and age.
Hey, it'd be kind of like a Cosmo Valdemar. Remember that werewolf that used to attack people and was real? Why not? I mean, Peter Cushing's telling the story. He's like, vampires were real in this world. And they're like, everybody in the train compartment's like, oh, God. Have you ever heard a story before you started telling all of these stories? Because you're missing a lot of the, what I would call classic story elements that make a story good. So Blake stays up in this kid's room with a handgun aimed at the window, and then a bat does try to fly in. He closes the window and then shoots through the window, injuring the bat. We then cut to Donald Sutherland waking up, and Nicole's at the window, and she's got a bloody hand, implying that she was out for a late-night flight and got shot.
And then Donald Sutherland starts sucking on her hand. Not really.
He's like, oh, wow. Wow. If I remember, there's something that I need to say off podcast, but
gotcha.
But it has to do with Donald Sutherland and that not American Horror Story, American Ghost Story. What was that? He was in a movie.
Ghost Story?
Is it called just Ghost Story?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's what.
I don't think Sutherland was in that one. Was he?
There's one where Sutherland's in it because this is very distinctly a Sutherland line. That I came up with that I cannot say in public.
I can't wait.
It's not that gross, guys. It just has no context and it'd be weird if I said it on here. So
right after she comes home with a wound on her hand, like the next scene is Dr. Blake sharpening a steak.
Yes. Yeah. And then he's like, you have to kill her, more or less. There is a good monologue in this, I thought. Dr. Blake gives kind of a good monologue, a good delivery of when he's talking about the vampire. I jotted it down here. He says, do you know what a vampire is? It is a spirit that inhabits a human body, granting it the power to transform into a bat at night to feast upon the blood of innocent victims. If a victim dies, they too become a vampire, rising from the grave after death to wander the earth in search of more blood. That fate would have awaited Johnny had he died from Nicole's bite, and it may yet befall the next victim. Tonight, she will go in search of someone. Watch her closely. The only way to kill a vampire is to drive a wooden stake through its heart. Watch her, and be ready when she returns. I liked that.
Yeah.
That's good little...
Yeah.
It's a 7-minute thing, and you've got...
Right.
How long is this movie?
Like an hour 30.
So... Hour and 29, just rubbish. You got 1 minute of gold in there. Maybe it was worth it. So Carol, Donald Sutherland, heartbroken, waits for Nicole to go to sleep, and he stabs her with the stake, killing her.
Yeah.
Cut 2, police are at the house. Donald Sutherland sitting there. Carol is staked. He says, yeah, she was a vampire, like they used to roam around the earth, remember? And the detective's like, that was long ago. Now the detective's like, "What are you talking about, a vampire? Like, this is craziness." And he says, "Wait for Dr. Blake. When Dr. Blake gets here, he'll tell you all about it, how she was a vampire." And Dr. Blake comes through the door, and he's like, "Tell him she's a vampire." And he's like, "I don't know what you mean."
And Blake totally disavows knowing anything about this.
And so then Donald Sutherland gets arrested, and he gets taken away. And then he says he will continue to live, but he'll be blind forever. And then Donald Sutherland goes, "No." No, they get outside, and Dr. Blake.
One of the police officers like, "You need a ride back?" And Dr. Blake's like, "No, I'll walk."
"No, I fly home tonight." Wink, wink.
Yeah.
And he says, he looks right down the barrel of the camera.
He does.
So I don't know how Peter Cushing told this part of the story. He's like, and then the doctor comes outside and he looks straight at the viewer as if there was a camera on him. And everybody in the train compartment's like, "What are you talking about?" But he looks straight down the barrel.
Yep.
And he says, like...
He says exactly, "This town isn't big enough for 2 vampires."
Yes.
And then he puts his hands directly up in the air.
Yes.
And then it just does this terrible fade out from Dr.
dissolve.
Blake to a terrible looking fake bat. And that fake bat was, it was bad every time. Something that...
it's so true. All 3 times it sucked.
It
was
did.
bad.
And real, I mean, like full light.
Yeah.
Like you could, they didn't even like try to hide it in the shadows.
Did Cushing describe that? He's like, "It's a bat, but it looked fake and it was bad."
It looked really bad. You could hear the windy part.
And this next card shows it. Look at it.
Look at this terrible construction. There was a scene where Dr. Blake, which we know by the end of the short, that he's a vampire.
Yeah.
There was a scene where a bat was trying to attack him.
Yes.
And he put his arms up, and on the wall where the light was hitting Dr. Blake, there was a cross made with his arms. And so the bat, flies away.
Yeah.
If a vampire were to make a cross with
it should have repelled him as well.
Shouldn't he have burst into flames?
Yes, absolutely. "Oh, I did that arm movement vampires aren't supposed to do." Ah! Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't... I mean, again...
Clearly nothing matters.
And death is killing time. There's, like, plot holes everywhere. They're like... I think it sucks for the guys on the train, because they, 2 hours or an hour and 30.
Yeah.
And death is just, barely getting through stories, trying to tell them they're, bad stories.
Like the end of segment 2, they dissolve back to the train car. Donald Sutherland is trying to jump out the window. It's like, no.
We're not to hell yet. He's like, "Wait, I'm dead?" It's like, I guess. I don't
know. Come on.
Oh,
Spoiler.
I was supposed to turn around in my best robe. So then they go, that ends. Donald Sutherland is like, "Who are you really?" He
just lights a cigarette.
Yeah. Well, one of them goes, "Who are you really?" to Peter Cushing. And he's like, "Oh, you don't know?" And then the train car goes dark. And then when the light comes back into the car, Peter Cushing's
gone. Yeah.
Yep, he's gone.
Yeah.
So then...
and at the end of every story, we should point out that the last tarot card he turns up is always death.
Yes.
And actually, he shows everybody when they ask, "Who are you really?" He shows them the death card.
And then he pointed at it. Then he pointed at himself. And then he pointed back at it. And they were like, "Oh, what?
Who's Deeth?"
Yeah. And they said, "So did we die in the stories you told, or are we about to die in the train, or did we already die on the train?"
Yeah, and if the train crashed, where is the broken up train?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Goodbye." See ya.
And then a newspaper falls from the sky.
Oh, yeah, so they get off the train station, and then they're all like, what is this?
The main story is inexplicable stories told. Nobody knows what's going on.
That's what the newspaper said. The newspaper says, tragedy, 5 men die on train. It's something that, so there was nobody else on the train. It was just them.
Right.
And they were the only ones that died.
Yeah. Which means that death went and got this printed up.
That's what I said. Did Peter Cushing put that newspaper together
and then drop it from
Death's Head Daily?
Yeah.
It fell from the sky, and he's like, "What do you think?" And and they're like, "Oh crap, we're dead, I guess." And then they're kind of confused, and then they look over, and Peter Cushing's there in a black robe, and then he turns around, with his back facing them, and then he turns back around and he's like this. He's like a spirit Halloween like skeleton.
Yes, it's an adorable skeleton
and then it kind of like
model. Yeah,
and it kind of like turns like Dark Crystal, like the whole body just kind of like turns and starts marching away. And they're like, well, I guess we follow him. I don't know. And then and then the movie ends on their confusion. And on my own confusion, Adam.
Yeah.
And there ends Dr. Terror's House of Horrors. Anything you'd like to add to the plot?
I don't think so.
Anything you want to try to dissect?
I feel like we have to just talk about this organically. I don't have anything. Like it's just like you and I talking about this. Actually, you're 100% right in your evaluation of this has more questions than answers.
I didn't understand, and I don't understand.
Yeah.
There's a timeline problem.
I want to watch a movie that's just Dr. Terror telling the story.
Yes.
Like acting out, like when things are like super high, I need him to be like you said, like just doing the jazz music.
Yeah.
Like singing the entire song because we had to sit through, as the viewers, we sat through at least 3 songs.
Yeah. And then she sucked her own finger like this. Oh, God. Please get off the train. You're so gross. We will take a break right now. And when we come back to, we have, I have 5 true and false questions. You want me to shave one off the list? Because I think our last round, previous one, we did 4.
No, it's too fun.
Is that fine?
Okay.
5, so we'll do a true and false trivia game when we come back, and then we'll get into our likes, dislikes, maybe best moments if we have one. So we'll be right back. Hello and welcome back to Forgotten Frights. I'm Josh, and I'm sitting here with Adam.
Hey.
And we are going to get into the trivia game for 1969's Dr. Terror's House of Horror, starring Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee. Adam, are you ready for this trivia game?
I am ready.
All right, number 1. Roy Castle, who was in the segment 3, loved smoking cigarettes and it can be seen in the film stuffing them greedily in his pocket. He would later die of lung cancer due to this habit.
I'm going to say false.
It is false. So Roy Castle was a lifelong non-smoker. However, he did die of lung cancer. Apparently, from the one piece of trivia I found, and I don't remember if it's Wikipedia or IMDb, so unreliable at best. I should say true at best, if not completely unreliable. Apparently, someone somewhere alleged that it was because of how often he spent his time in jazz clubs. So he got secondhand smoke, lung cancer, and then died, even though he was a non-smoker.
Yeah.
So there you go. Number 2. Donald Sutherland was paid handsomely for his role in this film.
I have to say false.
That is also false. He was only paid £1,000 for his role, so I don't know if that's like $100 or something.
I don't know
what that is in that.
I feel like he was pretty early on in his career, so yeah. I don't know.
He said he started in this, and then he started in the Hammer film in '65. So before this, a film called Fanatic, and he said he did both of these films because he was quote unquote hungry. And I don't know if that means he was hungry for roles or he was hungry for roles.
I think he was hungry for rolls.
Food rolls.
Oh, yeah. Right. Okay. Hot buttered rolls.
Yes. So that's what I was thinking.
Butter's extra. Shit.
Yeah. I need 1,200 pounds. Crap. Number 3, the hand used in this film has multiple film credits to its name.
That is true.
That is true. It is true. It was also used in Tales from the Crypt in 1972, and in the film And Now the Screaming Starts in 1973. Producer and writer Milton Subotsky was quite taken with the hand. It had been made for only £400. Now, how much that is, I have no idea. $20? $25? $40? I don't know. Number 4, Roy Castle was so bad at the trumpet that he had to be muted and overdubbed.
I'm going to say false.
That is false. So Roy Castle was a talented trumpeter and released the 7-inch 45 RPM record, Dr. Terror's House of Horrors / Voodoo Girl. So he was really just riding the wave.
Woof.
Yeah. Number 5. A novel of the film was published by Pan Books in 1965, written by John Burke. The author visited the shoot, where he was startled to discover quite how drunk Bernard Lee was on set. Similarly, a large liquid lunch left Tubby Hayes fairly incapacitated in the studio. True or false?
When was the book written?
65 is when the book that the film was based on.
But the film came out in 69?
Correct.
So the book was 4 years prior to the movie.
Correct.
I'm going to say true.
It's true. And all I said...
I got 5 out of 5.
You got 5 out of 5. And I said, what a crazy story.
Yeah.
It's like I wrote
that
this book,
seems way too...
Shows how people are wasted.
Yep.
Yep. Now, Adam, one additional piece of trivia. Did you know that there is a 1943 Dr. Terror's House of Horror?
No.
Okay. So it was a film that was a compilation of other films. You brought this up in the last one, so I thought that was interesting that Mario Bava tried to take 3 films and turn them into kind of a sandwich anthology, or not anthology, but like a trilogy.
Yeah.
This one, they actually took a bunch of segments from films and stuck them together as kind of a roadside theater attraction to get people to go to the movies. So the films that were stitched together was The Flaming Signal, The Golem, The Legend of Prague, The Living Dead, The Return of Chandu, Vampire, and White Zombie from 1932. There's a website dedicated to it that shows like old posters and newspaper clippings of the compilation of these movies, because apparently they tried it for a while and then they were like, yeah, whatever. Apparently nobody wants to see all these movies jumbled together in a mess. Okay, so Adam, you got 5 out of 5.
Nice.
Are you the first one of us to get 5 out of 5?
I don't know.
Between the both of us?
It doesn't happen often.
Does not happen often. So, good job.
Thanks.
Your gift is nothing. I have nothing to offer you.
Terrific.
Except for the sparkling apple ciders and my French.
That was very good.
Would you like to hear some gaffes, some errors?
I would love to hear some goofs and gaffes.
You want some goofs and gaffes?
That's right.
From Dr. Terror? All right. We've got a variety of them, so I'll just kind of cut around. Continuity errors. In the first story, Jim Dawson is dressed in a green top whilst working in the cellar. In the next scene, he is filmed undressing for bed but is wearing a collared shirt and tie. I think this is more so just this film was... Could we say slapdash is a good descriptor?
Yeah.
That by the time they got to the end of this film, they said it should end this way, and nobody asked a single question about whether the ending of that was good.
It felt like most of the endings of all these stories were very much like, okay, we got to just figure something out.
That's right.
Yeah.
We have Nicole's shoes change from stilettos coming down the stairs to clunkier heel when she turns and runs back up the steps. So maybe just to help her not fall and break her neck during the filming of Dr. Terror's House of Horrors. When Dr. Shrek arrives in front of the train carriage, the window is all fogged up, but it wasn't a few moments before when the last man arrived. Again, I think those are more so just telling of the kind of production we're dealing with here.
Yeah.
Factual errors, contrary to what is implied. Oh, and I should say these are from IMDb, from their gaffes and goofs. Contrary to what is implied in Taromancy, the 13th card showing death is generally interpreted to indicate a positive change, not a negative one. So at the end, when Peter Cushing's like, "You're all gonna die," he should have been showing like the card with the sweet puppy on it.
Yeah.
And they were like,
Like raspberry bushes.
Instead of that one that just shows a train crashing and there's like a werewolf driving the train for some reason.
Yeah. It's not ambiguous at all.
Not at all. It's like something like this, but I'm not entirely sure.
It's like 5 cards paper clipped together. This is what happens.
He's still
But when? He
still,
just vanishes.
But when? He's still gluing one to the back. Hold on, that's not dry yet. The cast board the train, and it appears to be a pre-1948 compartment carriage, non-gangway stock in British railway parlance. But by 1965, the few remaining carriages of this type were used on local services only and would not be seen on an express, which the train is implied to be. So that's more of a train question.
This film is 1969 and not 1965. I feel like we keep coming back to 65.
Let me find out. Oh, I think it is 65.
Okay.
Maybe I said 69 early on, and or I keep saying it. I kept saying 1969.
Yeah.
It's 1969's Dr. Terror's House of Horrors.
It is 65.
65.
Okay.
So then the book came out the same year the movie was made.
Okay. Well, then I changed my answer. No, I'm kidding.
So that was a plot reveal much akin to Peter Cushing. It wasn't 69 the whole time.
Right.
It turns out it was 65.
So wait, that's going to happen to me?
Yeah. Oh, wait, that doesn't make a difference at all to this podcast? Just like none of the reveals made a difference to the movie at all? Wow, that's crazy. That happened in real time. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them here that are, a lot of them are just, this was actually that. I have some miscellaneous ones here. Johnny Ellis fails to wake up when Dr. Blake fires a pistol in his bedroom. I think that's, maybe he's a deep sleeper.
Well, but that scene's pretty quick. I mean, he shoots the bat and then basically, doesn't it just go back to their bedroom?
I guess.
Like, they don't, linger there. Like, that was a hell of a shot, wasn't it, kid? Like, that doesn't happen.
It says most of the people in New England seem to still speak with a British accent.
Yeah.
During the third section, Roy Castle's band are supposed to be playing live, but you hear the voice of Kenny Lynch, even though there's no microphone in sight. I don't think that one really matters that much. These are just a couple of plot holes, and we'll move on. Dr. Blake suggests Nicole was scared off when he made the sign of a cross with his arms, but he is also a vampire and was untroubled by the symbol, so that's one of them. And this one says Blake's story should not be so readily believed since he's a vampire. But, I mean, they filmed it and they showed it, so he should have just told that story.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I only believe what I see. Franklin Marsh does not touch the deck 3 times as is necessary, according to Dr. Terror, around the beginning of the movie. So that tells me that, Peter Cushing was like, oh, yeah, I don't care. Hey, but you told me the whole story and I didn't touch the deck 3 times. Who cares?
That's why you're not blind.
Yeah, that's why you're only blind and not dead. So I live? Yeah. Well, no, because the train crashed. But what are you talking about? The last one. The vampire in the 5th segment are seen freely walking about in the daylight rather than in the protection of coffins, as vampire legends dictate. I think, as we know from werewolves, that's not always true. Things can differ. And
also, if you're going to write this lazily, no, they sleep in beds now.
That's more true.
Yeah.
That's more true.
Yeah.
So, as Peter Cushing was telling that story, they were like, so it's daytime, but there's vampires out? And he's like, yeah.
Daywalkers.
Yeah, daywalkers. Don't you know?
Yep.
Don't you like the Blade trilogy? Okay. What are you talking about? Again. Likes, dislikes, favorite segments, favorite moments. Do you want to start? You want me to start?
I don't know if I necessarily have a favorite segment.
Yeah.
What I will say about this movie, and I will say that doing this podcast helps me watch these movies in a different context. It really does. So the vine, the creeping vine, and the last story about the vampire, the 4th story about the creeping hand, those specifically, I guess even the first one, they very much remind me of the old EC comics.
Yeah.
Like, they're just these, a lot of times, morality plays, Now, these people weren't necessarily bad people. Maybe segment 3 is different. But the other ones, they're not necessarily bad people. But a lot of times in those stories, it's bad people and they get their comeuppance.
Sure, yeah.
I could totally have this movie playing in the background, just, it's as a filler thing. Like, what I've realized with this movie is I've never had to take notes on it. Mm-hmm. And when you do, it's like, oh, this is, so, yeah, I mean, I don't think I have a favorite segment. And yeah, it was of all of these anthology movies, this has got to be down near the bottom of my favorites.
The very bottom of the bucket.
Yes. Now, saying all that though, there is something about these anthology movies that is very comforting.
Yes, yeah, it's confusing, but very watchable. Except for the third segment. That was not watchable. That was horrible. And I never want to see it again. I love anthologies. I think we both do. I thought there was a nice core variety here. You've got werewolves, you got vampires, you got zombie hands. Cool. Like that's fine. It's I'm sure if I thought about it, there are plenty of anthologies where it's just like, these were very boring stories when you look at it in hindsight, but I'm sure there's lots of anthologies that we've either seen or have yet to see that are just, it's the worst pick of stories, like the absolute worst pick of the most boring stories ever. So I was okay with that. It's fine. And I think there was some creativity in some of the segments with what they were trying to do. I don't know why segment 5 turned into like, this is kind of funny, huh? I'm talking to the camera. That tone is nowhere else in the film. So why would you? Yeah. Why would you do? Is Peter Cushing was getting like really tired during that story, and then he interjected something funny, and they're like, "Why did you do that?" And he's like, "I'm exhausted. I've been telling stories for an hour and a half. I'm tired." Dislikes. I said, well, the segments stuck to interesting tropes. They were just kind of meh. Considering you have other Amicus films that do the same thing but are much better. Mm-hmm. The ending is also baffling. I don't understand. I don't know what it means, and it makes you question the entire premise of the film. Is that how they died, and the train re-killed them? Or did they all die on the train, but if they had lived, would they also have met their ends through the tarot premonitions? Yeah. If the train hadn't crashed.
But there's no timeline to even tell you that could happen.
So death is, he's saying, this is a multi-dimensional thing. Yeah. One version of you will go on and die by vines. One version of you will die in a train crash.
That's a possibility.
Either way, meet me at the train station.
Yep.
I've got a reveal. Also, Christopher Lee didn't die, and neither did Donald Sutherland or the Vine guys. So are they just... So the fear they're going to die of old age eventually? Like, what is... But, yeah, it's just baffling. I don't even know.
Right.
I don't know. Overall, the segments, the werewolf one I thought was fine, right up until the end. And then the reveals going, okay.
That was probably the best put together segment.
Yeah, and they also show a werewolf hand, and then it's just like a wolf. It's just like a dog.
Yeah.
Does the dog have hands?
That would be great.
That would be great. Overall, 2 thumbs down. Horrible film. Not really. I think it's fine. But yeah, that's all I've got. Anything you wanted to add, Adam, to Dr. Terror's House of Horror, 1965?
I guess if you got to spin it positively, if this is the first of the Amicus anthologies, they can only go up from here.
Absolutely true. And with that said, good night and good fright.